After one round, this guy in car number 50, Jake Bradley, shocked TNT by dominating at Indianapolis, and he intends to do the same at Charlotte. The Gen 4 cars are live for 130 laps at the house that Drippy built. For those that know, green flag is out. Let's go racing.
Oh, they're wrecking already.
The voice of Ryan Pennell joining us, as he will do this season, and caution is out. Not even, Ryan, 500 feet. What? You know, for a, and this is hilarious, because for a league that I'm stammering, but I'm stammering out of shock. This doesn't happen. We don't wreck often. TNT prides itself on going caution-free. Kevin Feemster will drive through the pace truck. And Ryan, you might have seen more of this than I did, but the green flag came out and they all fell apart.
Yeah, it looked like Cody may have got turned. I'm not sure who that was, but I just saw the 28 hit the wall, and then everybody involved afterwards.
Yeah, it looks like Aaron Edwards in the 2-8 of Cody Pennell made contact. Matt Seeger, the Georgian drivers involved. Cousin Cody gets turned around. Let's see if we can have another look. Oh, that angle's not going to help anything. How about this? Keep your eye on the Haviland car. Yeah, so to me, Ryan, it looks like Aaron Edwards just spins the tires on the race start. He gets into Cody Pennell. Have another look. But you tell me, it looks like the one car has a wiggle, gets into Cody in the Haviland machine. Seeger's just an innocent bystander.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, usually by that time, I mean, you're not usually spinning tires, but maybe it was just a shift into fourth and he spun a little bit. But poor Cody just running his own race there. And then, unfortunately, a lot of other cars, looked like Feemster was involved as well. A bunch of cars involved, not even into turn one. So very uncharacteristic of a TNT race, but hey, it happens.
Bren Roberts just put in the fastest lap at 51.67 seconds. Go Bren. So, okay, not the start we wanted, but we were just talking about Jacob Bradley, who last week put the rest of the league to shame out of nowhere, and he's not changing anything here. Just a moment while we fix a couple of technical difficulties, Ryan, but Indianapolis is different than Charlotte. So I was going to say, to be respectful to Jacob Bradley, what kind of shot does he have here? Is it going to be the same sort of explosive racing that we saw last week at Indianapolis?
Yeah, the thing that worries me is I think when we interviewed him last week after his win, he said it was one of his favorite mile-and-a-half tracks. And if I'm any of the competition, that's not what I want to hear from a guy that just won pretty easily at Indy. So we'll see what he can do, but obviously put it on pole and he's out front. But we'll see if we get a long run, you know, if he can keep that speed.
We can turn the lights up a little bit, maybe see a little bit more. I'm trying to look at this through two screens right now, and one screen is way darker than the rest. So do not adjust your television set. That's me, not you. It's not a Rick James broadcast if something technically doesn't go wrong when we do this racing, but somehow it all comes together, and it will come together after 130 laps. Ryan, you've been in these races plenty of times, and by now you've got the what we call the league admin, or in this case, the guy that the guy that runs the show, Thomas Andrews, in there, kind of just being your race director. There it is. I don't know why the hell I couldn't put that together, but you have Thomas Andrews playing race director. What's he saying to you as a driver right now after that not even turn one crash?
Well, I can't say it on your broadcast, but yeah, he's probably not very happy. I mean, I've been there before with our races Sunday with A squared. Sometimes the drivers just get a little over anxious, and that's what ends up happening, unfortunately. It's just, you know, it's a long race. You shouldn't be doing that on pretty much lap zero, but hopefully they'll get it dialed in here, and we'll get us a long green flag run.
Second time's the charm. I guess we'll rack them, stack them, and do it again. Cross your fingers. We'll see how far they make it. Last week's winner, Jake Bradley, starting on the front once again, waiting for the green light to turn on. Let's go racing again. Ryan, it's a Christmas miracle. They made it out of turn one.
Yeah, there were still a lot of cars really loose, so the restarts here, especially on old tires, that's going to be really sketchy if we do get another caution, but good job. We made it a lap.
Jake Bradley comes out of turn number 4 in the number 50 Lowe's machine, the pride of Kansas City. Seth Wansing sits behind him in that number 9. Chuck Sweeting in the 5-7 runs in third. The two-time champion Tom Sears in fourth, and Brooklyn's Nick Pressey sitting in fifth. Briley Wright to his inside. Landon in the chat. He's a big fan of the Bluegrass Bandits. Briley Wright and Cody Riggs in tonight's race. Ryan, seeing Riggs this far ahead in seventh. Again, I'm not trying to be mean. We don't see him running in the top 10. He's doing really well, and curse of the commentator, he's just hit the wall.
Yeah, I saw that. I think he stayed out there, and there was just so many cars involved in that first wreck, and he made it through and was able to get some track position. So, I mean, still inside the top 10, so a good run for Riggs early on.
Larry Eberhard's going to go to Riggs's rear end and maybe his left end as he's going to try and come around for that 10th position. Chuck Sweeting took the lead from Jake Bradley. Will he make it stick out of turn number 4? Ryan, the unsponsored black and green machine, goes to the front.
Yeah, he just set a purple time, 29.47, where Jacob Bradley ran a 29.7. So he is definitely a lot faster, but how long will that last? Is he going to use up his tires?
Well, now we have to see what Jake Bradley's going to do. This is the reactionary period for you as the driver, and I think it's almost a primal instinct where if a guy passes you, you have to go then chase that driver. You know, if somebody gets around you, you can't just take that sitting down. The red mist descends, and you have to go after it. We're seeing here that Chuck Sweeting is now breaking out to a 0.4 of a second lead over Jacob Bradley. So, one of two things. Chuck is that fast, or Jake is just hanging back, trying not to let the primal instinct to go after Chuck Sweeting take over. Am I making sense?
No, absolutely. I mean, that was something that I probably struggled with more than anything is when I was trying to save tires and somebody would pass me, like you said. And I mean, initial reaction for a race car driver is I'm going to go get them. And sometimes you can't. You got to just be patient. And something that I struggle with, a lot of drivers struggle with, but I don't think Jacob Bradley's going to struggle with that at all. We'll probably see him run down that 57, but I don't know. 57's still got a lot of speed right now.
Looking at 8th place right now, one Bren Roberts running in that 8-4. Aaron Edwards just ahead of him. Don't forget that number 1 car was involved in that turn 1, let's call it a turn 1 crash, but they literally did not make it to turn number 1. He's almost sandwiched between Nick Pressey in the drip diecast machine, and then his friend Matt Seeger behind him. And Ryan, excuse my stammering, but Ryan, you get nervous. That's how nervous I am. You get nervous watching these cars accordion back and forth.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that the inside line is where everyone wants to be. I mean, you see a couple cars up high, and you do get a good run off corner exit, but it's just you're using up your tires so much more on that outside line. We'll have to see as the night goes on and it turns into night, you know, maybe that top side will come in.
Pardon my Porky Pig moments. As funny as it is, one time, Repeat, shout out Repeat, by the way, wherever you may be watching, coined that phrase, or at least the first time I ever heard it was when Repeat told me that the Porky Pigs came out. So, you know what we need to do? Every time that comes up, Ryan, we need to put a counter on the screen that says Porky Pig counter every time I start stammering back and forth. It'll be like the Cole Trickle Move of the Race Award.
I love it.
We'll just have Porky Pig in the corner every time I keep on stammering. If you just tuned in, you haven't missed a thing except for a crash on the first 500 feet of this race. Nick Pressey from Brooklyn right now is holding on to the back end of that 5th place, and Ryan, it's almost looking like, you know, a single file draft race at Daytona or Talladega. These guys, they don't want to break the line, but they're really close to each other, at least too close for my comfort.
Yeah, I mean, 3rd all the way pretty much to 9th under a blanket. And then you have a second pack that Cody's leading from pretty much 10th back to almost 16th, 17th. So it is kind of weird. It's almost like a Daytona race where you have 2 packs running together. It's pretty fun to watch. I mean, obviously not side by side, but 2 different packs out there.
The Drip Diecast and Collectibles Track Facts will tell you we're estimating about 30 to 40 laps on 1 tank of fuel. Ryan, how accurate is that? Do you think they're going to go more, less?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to go to 40 unless you're really, really saving. I would say, just from what I was watching in practice and kind of listening, 30 to 32 is pretty much like the money lap. If you go any further than that, you're going to fall off way, way off the pace. So I would say probably around 30 to 32.
5 maximum tire changes tonight, 1 more than the usual 4. So 6 sets total, and not that they're going to need 6 sets, Ryan, but that it's going to be, it's just in case, you know, just in case there's a late race restart. The drivers have that, not an option tire, but they have the option of a fresh tire in case of a late race restart, which, judging by how they're racing, after that lap 1, turn 1 wreck, as close as they are, everybody's chilled out. They're giving each other space.
Yeah, they know that they have a long, long way to go in this race. I mean, 130 laps at Charlotte, that is not a short race at all. I mean, that is like we were doing last week trying to do math. I'm not going to try and do that math, but that's a lot of miles here at Charlotte. So, yeah, you just got to settle in here and just be there at the end.
Luckily, I did the math. The race facts show 195 miles. I know it's not exact. Somebody else can do the math, but it's close. So let's call it 195. These guys might not make it to 195 the way that they're racing. 2x2, 2 rows deep. Aaron Edwards in the Logitech machine. Nicholas, Edward, Michael, Jeremy Pressey the third on the outside in the 7th position now. And Ryan, if they haven't made contact yet, they're going to in this next lap.
Yeah, they're very, very close. But I just happened to look. Jacob Bradley looks like he's catching that 57 machine, running faster laps. I kind of knew it was coming, and looks like it's happening.
Over the last 5 laps, you can see that Chuck Sweeting has been consistently slower than Jacob Bradley. And then there's the top 3 altogether. Seth Wansing has been quicker than Jacob Bradley over the last 5 laps, and Jacob Bradley quicker than Chuck Sweeting. So we're looking at a possible change at the front of this race. Now, Ryan, call me crazy, but if I'm Jacob Bradley, I don't want to pass Chuck Sweeting. Even with Seth Wansing coming, I don't yet want to pass Chuck Sweeting because I want to conserve my fuel. I want to save my stuff. If I can pass Chuck Sweeting, why don't I just stay in 2nd?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I think Jacob had other plans. He's not listening to you, Rick.
Well, there's a reason that I'm up here and not down there. We ran a modified race last night, and that every time I actually drive in iRacing, it proves exactly why I'm sitting here and everybody else is racing down there, because they know way more than I do about racing. And if Jacob Bradley wins this race, it's just going to further once again prove that I know nothing. 23 laps now on the scoreboard, and that leaves 108 laps to go, I think. More of that great Midwestern math. You don't need math to tell that these guys are close, Ryan. Of this pack here, let's say Bren Roberts in the 84 all the way back to Briley Wright in the 29. Which one of these drivers do you expect to escape, if you will, or move forward from this pack before pit stops?
I've been watching Bren. He's been really fast. I don't know if he was just saving his stuff. I know Tom Sears got a little loose coming to the start-finish line a few laps ago, but Brent Roberts has been really fast in that number 84 machine, so I think he might have a chance to, maybe pass Aaron here before pit stops. There he goes, trying to look to the inside of him.
Aaron Edwards finds a challenger to the port side of the singular numbered Logitech Impala SS. The BB&T Chevrolet to the left-hand side out of turn number 4. Nick Pressy's going around out of turn number 4 through pit lane. The drip diecast and collectibles machine will hit nothing. Gently place itself back onto the racing surface as cars hurl around Nick Pressy. He almost got clipped, crashed, wrecked by the 17 of Kevin Feemster. Elrich George in the Aaron's Dream Machine with a damaged Dream Machine, mind you, and Kevin Feemster just happily skips along in 16th after almost destroying Nick Pressy. Ryan, what happened out of turn number 4?
Yeah, it looked like he may have made a little bit of contact with Tom Sears, and then not really sure. I don't know if he wasn't looking at his mirrors or what, but that was a little sketchy coming back on the track like that with cars coming full speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if we can run this one back, because it looks like Pressy just goes right to the inside of Tom Sears. Have a look. This is coming out of turn number 4. I think Tom Sears is going to try the crossover out of the corner. Nope, this is not that lap. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. So, I don't know if Nick Pressy just gets loose coming out of turn number 4, but have one more look, and it just looks like the 94 might have shook coming out of turn 4 and tried to save it. Let's see if we can go on board with Tom Sears. Tough call, Ryan, but the race goes on. Kevin Feemster runs in 16th. Brooklyn's Nick Pressy drops to 19th just before green flag pit stops.
Yeah, tough break for Pressy. Looks like he just got loose, like you said, and Tom Sears kind of looked like he turned him at first, but once we saw the onboard, pretty obvious that Nick just got super loose and Tom just had nowhere to go. So very unfortunate for Nick. He's upset with himself right now inside that race car.
You and I both know Nick. We know that he races with all the emotion in the world. To his credit, to his benefit, you don't have to guess what Nick Pressy's feeling, and oftentimes it really does keep him out of trouble, because if you know what Nick Pressy's feeling, you know how you're going to race Nick Pressy as well, and it genuinely keeps him clear of a lot of damage. But we're talking like he's out of this. He's absolutely not out of this. He's still on the lead lap, mind you, and anything can happen. I mean, if a caution comes out, he's right back in it. So Pressy fans, do not despair. Ryan, we got, 100 laps to go? We can do some math. 100 this time.
Oh, yeah, 100. I can do that one.
30 minus 130 is negative 100, right? That means there's 100 laps to go in this second round. And no prizes for guessing who's going to be leading the points coming into this race. Jacob Bradley with a 7-point gap to the man that sits behind him, Chuck Sweeting. And Ryan, I know it's only round 2, but at some point you've got to start thinking about the gap growing from Bradley to Sweeting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is not like your normal league races or leagues where, most of them have playoffs, most of them have, win and you're in. This is TNT. This is what we love. This is old school. It is straight up points racing from race 1 to the end. So, yeah, if you have somebody that wins the first race and he's out there looking like he has a good shot of winning this one, that points gap's going to get out of hand pretty quick.
Cousin Cody gets around 2-time Tom Sears in the 1-4. We call him that because he's won 2 championships, not because he has a terrible character. No, he's a great guy, so we call him 2-time for a good reason. Brent Roberts decides to come into the pits, and Ryan, I owe your cousin Cody a little bit of an adjustment. He asked me for some help on this paint scheme, and I did what I could to help him out with this. This is a while ago, but I forgot to make some adjustments to this car, so Cody, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry for not fixing up your race car, but it's still gorgeous, that Haviland machine. And the leaders are in, Ryan. I'm going to stop rambling on about crap that no one cares about, man. Now it's a race between Bradley and Sweeting at 55 miles an hour.
Absolutely. Getting onto pit road is going to be a huge thing here, especially at Charlotte, because you can gain so much speed, and you can on corner or on pit exit. If you're not careful, it's really slippery down there, so some mistakes could be made.
The KC Masterpiece just south of Kansas City. Seth Wansing decides it's his turn to come into the pits, so Georgia's Matt Seeger will now take the top spot in the 16 Coca-Cola machine. Colin McDonough, will he come in? He will. No, he's on his way out. No, he's on his way in. I don't know where we are. So Colin McDonough's in. Tommy Withers is in. John Honeybrink is out, Ryan. So he's going to move into the second position. And then Jacob Bradley is now coming out of pit road with a 1.5 second lead on Chuck Sweeting. And I think I know the answer, but how in the world does he achieve that?
He's just that good. I mean, there's really no other option. I mean,
but where is he that good? To try and actually measure, give it a yardstick. Why is Jacob Bradley now almost, 1.5 seconds away ahead of Chuck Sweeting?
I think the main thing, and a lot of drivers don't do this, including myself, is you can adjust your brake bias. Oh, we got one in the grass on the front stretch. I don't know who that is, but you can adjust your brake bias coming into pit road, and you can really, really stand on the brakes, and the car won't spin out. A lot of drivers just don't change it. I have a feeling Jacob Bradley changes his brake bias on coming into pit road, and then you turn it back to where it was when you get out on track, so you're running fast times again.
Chucky's on the move. Ryan, Chuck Sweeting just went purple, 29:43, his personal best, and that's 0.2 quicker that last time around than the leader Jacob Bradley. But Ryan, we saw this last time where Chuck Sweeting fast enough to pass Jacob Bradley, but you called it. 5 laps later, Jacob Bradley's getting back around Chuck Sweeting, and then now we have this, another 1 second gap.
Yeah, and this is something that we'll have to watch the 57. My guess would be maybe later on in this race, if it stays green, does he undercut that 50 car and get maybe 2 or 3 laps on fresher tires? He'll make up a lot of ground. Obviously, he'll lose it once the 50 pits, but something to just keep an eye on.
If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing, except for a crash on lap number 1. But so far, it's all calm. On the Charlotte track, Seth Wansing went purple, 29:39. He's now fastest under the lights in Concord. And Ryan, looking at the top 10, your cousin Cody, everybody knows they need to watch out for him. He's a shoo-in. Seth Wansing. Sometimes he's hot, sometimes he's not. But when he's hot, he's really on it. He just went purple. His car might be getting faster as the track gets colder. Jake Bradley, on the other hand, just put in his personal best, 29:58. He's now back up over a second, and all of this correlates with the track getting darker and now the track getting colder. What is the car going to do now that we have no more sunlight on this racetrack?
Well, it's going to tighten up a little bit, especially in the corners, but it's still going to snap loose. It can snap loose on them, but it's definitely going to be a little bit tighter, especially in a longer run. But I just watched. I see Seth. He's running 7th. He was up there, I think, like 3rd before the pit stops. And I think that comes down to the fact he stayed out 1 lap later than most everyone ahead of him. So that just shows how important it is to come down pit road as soon as possible to not lose time like Seth did.
Aaron Edwards and Matt Seeger nose to tail once again. Shout out Emily Seeger, who's undoubtedly this guy's #1 fan. Sister Emily coming through in the chat to cheer for him every week, and we talk about football all the time as well. We end up talking about our Super Bowl predictions, and Ryan, I think the Chiefs are going to win on Sunday, honestly. They would be the first team to win 3 straight Super Bowls, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. They're going to be hard to beat.
Who you got?
Well, you know I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan, and pretty much the entire Philadelphia Eagles defense is from the University of Georgia, so I'm going to go Eagles.
Eagles fly for Ryan, and Chiefs for me. I'm really, really excited for the halftime show. I like Kendrick Lamar a lot. I'm excited to see what he's going to put together for that. But the Super Bowl's always fun, man. You know how much football I watch a year. Not a lot, but the Super Bowl, it seems... I know it's a cliche, right? But it is a holiday that you look forward to, man. Just everybody buys fried food. You get a giant bowl of chips, and you sit there and you watch football because why not? And of course, the commercials are always entertaining too. And this year we even got rap beef for entertainment. So I think it's a really special year for football. Put it in the chat as well if you're watching on your screen, if you're watching on your computer, whatever. Type in the chat. Let me know who you got, Chiefs or Eagles. I got a button to start a poll around here somewhere. Maybe I should do that. But Ryan, the battle for first is heating up.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen. I mean, Chuck's still almost 2-3 tenths faster a lap, but again, he's going to hit a wall at some point, and he's going to start falling off. But we'll just see. I mean, like I said, I really think he might undercut. Probably not this pit stop, but maybe the next one. But we'll just have to keep an eye on it and see what happens.
So the 5-7 goes to the top. New leader, Chuck Sweeting. Trauma's in the house as well on YouTube saying Shotgun's #2 fan in the house. On the Twitch chat saying Seeger is on the move. And Ryan, I think this guy, and I don't know if we mentioned it last week, shout out Moldy Muskrat in the chat as well. He's a big Chiefs fan. Shout out Missouri. A lot of my family still lives there. But anyway, back to Matt Seeger. He feels overdue for a win, but he's got really tough competition.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned it last week. I think this is probably the toughest competition that TNT's had in a long time. Obviously, you know, we had Moldy last week, not here tonight, but still a lot of really great race car drivers out there. And Jacob Bradley actually fell to third. Bryn Roberts got around him too, so that could be huge for the 57 because now the 50 has to battle with Bryn, you know, once he gets there. They're trying to wreck back here too. Cody Riggs and looks like maybe Withers. They were all over the place there for a little bit.
Tommy Withers in that number 60 on the left-hand side of Colin McDonough. 50 laps about to be put up on the board. Emily's in the house. She says, I don't know who I want to win. I'm excited for the halftime show. Can't wait to watch him perform Not Like Us. And rumors are Tyler, the Creator, might be there as well. So that's exciting. The rap game has really taken over, I think, this past year. I mean, if it doesn't take over every single year, then what else does it do? Shout out hip-hop. Dirty Deeds on the YouTube chat saying Shotty's in 5th, tracking him down. You get a lot of these guys that used to race in ENEA and know Matt Seeger when he was racing in ENEA on the Xbox side. They used to call him Shotgun. If you ever hear us refer to a driver as Shotgun, that's Matt Seeger. Shotty, for those that know. Ryan, all the action's in the back. 12th all the way back through 16th. Larry Eberhard's at the back of this. Let's go on board. Now, Ryan, I think Larry's playing it smart. If I'm back here, I'm going to let all of this unfold. This is not my business.
Yeah, they're racing pretty hard up here for 12th. I mean, that's what we are. That's what we do. That's what race car drivers do. It doesn't matter if you're racing for the win or you're racing for 23rd. You're racing your heart out.
Kevin Feemster at the front of all of this calamity. Cody Riggs to the left-hand side, and Colin McDonough's going to try to sneak up the port side of the 17 DeWalt machine, but not without the Win Dixie machine. making some noise from Virginia in the 6-0. Tommy Withers to the left-hand side of the 1-7. He will skate along the Charlotte Blacktop. Colin McDonough will crawl through the open window. Kevin Feemster decides he's going to try and put his window through the fence in turn number 4. And that DeWalt machine is going to need some new paint. Ryan, what happened? He just got high out of 4 and trying to stay out of everybody's way. He just sank like a stone there.
Yeah, I think what I was saying earlier, these cars are getting really tight. So you can see it coming out of 4. A lot of these drivers, especially in dirty air, the car's just pushing straight into the wall. And that wall is kind of misleading because you think you have more room, and then next thing you know, you're in the wall and really nothing you can do about it.
Once again, do not adjust your television sets here. Just trying to make everything look nice and pretty. Shout out Infraction Music, who supplies music to streamers, free of any, what do you call it, DMCA or whatever that little acronym is. But anyway, shout out Infraction, who do the pre-race music as well. They help out with Rick James TV. Check them out on Spotify if you get a chance. If you do any streaming yourself and you need some music for your stream, Infraction Music on Spotify got you. 55 laps on the board, Ryan, so we're closer to halfway. I think 10 laps away from the halfway mark. Moldy Muskrat's in the chat asking, can we go on board with Bradley to see if he's clutching? Moldy thinks it's going to be close on fuel for a 3-stop race. All right, let's break this one down for those that don't know. Ryan, I want you to explain for the folks at home clutching and 3-stop.
Yeah, so clutching is probably the only thing that I'm good at in iRacing. Obviously, when you go into the corners, especially if you need to save fuel, you basically do exactly what it sounds like. Oh, Colin is in the wall. That looked like somebody hit him too. I don't know what happened there. Take a look at that and I'll finish my thought.
I think Jacob Bradley just evaporated out of nowhere. Let's go to Colin McDonough, who got in the wall. We were just on board with Jacob Bradley and completely lost all sort of control there. Sorry about that. Let's
Oh, one in the wall outside.
Is that
wall,
Aaron Edwards?
Yeah, I think.
Caution's
no,
out.
Nicholas Pressey.
Caution's out. It's Nick Pressey. It's Colin McDonough, who look like they're both involved. That 94 is cooked. Man. He's going to try and limp it back to pit road so he doesn't have to tow. I think he can make it, but that... Nope, he's not going to make it. Larry Eberhard. Kind of driving a little funny. He's mostly damage-free. Cody Riggs looks like he might have caught some sort of that. The number 3 Budweiser machine involved, and that's going to be caution number 2. And to answer Moldy Muskrat's question, Noah Belleville, for those that know, yeah, you can hear the revs on the 50 car. You can hear what Ryan is describing as clutching, which, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, cuts the revs down, saves fuel, and he's trying to make this race on 3 pit stops.
Yeah, well, that strategy's out the window.
And all of that doesn't matter now because everybody's going to come down for tires and fuel. Let's see what happened to Colin McDonough on lap 55. Ryan, maybe you can tell me what happened to Colin McDonough on lap 55, because apparently every race car just vanished into thin air, and next thing I know, Colin has wrecked.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Colin got into the wall, but I don't know if it seemed like Nicholas Pressey was on a whole different. It looked like he was maybe on the back straightaway, so I think it was a separate incident. I've been having some issues too. I've had my cars were blinking on my end too, so maybe it's an iRacing server issue or something, but I don't know what happened to Nick Pressey when it jumped over to him. He was already headed towards the outside wall, but man, it was a hard hit for him.
There we see the aftermath. Oh, it was contact with Cody Riggs. All right, finally. God, we are some amateurs at this, man. Let's go back and record this here. Nick Pressey on the outside of Cody Riggs. It looks like the 3 car just comes really high out of the corner. And Nick's going to slap both sides of the race car. And Larry Eberhard's going to avoid Nick. We're going to go back to that in just a moment, and the caution comes out. Watch this again, Ryan. Lap 56. 3 car just slides up into the 9-4.
Yeah, not a good look there, but I mean, poor Nick just not having. Hey, look, we've all been there as race car drivers. Sometimes it's just not your night, and tonight for that 94 machine, it is just not his night.
One more look at Cody Riggs, and let's see if we can get a wider view of this. And I'm looking at the gap between Nick and the wall there, and I think the gap holds, and Cody Riggs just slides up out of the corner. Gives him a little more than a love tap. Let's see if we can go on board with the 9-4. Shout out Larry Eberhard, who avoided Nick Pressey there. Let's see if we can go on board with the 96, because Larry made some slick moves to get around Pressey, Ryan. Watch this.
Yeah, he did. And another one that made some good moves is Kevin Feemster. That's the second time that 94 machine coming back on track has almost ruined Kevin Feemster's night. So good job by Larry and Kevin there by avoiding that. It could have been even worse.
96 will just scoot past car 94 without blinking, and he makes it through, and it's smooth moves like that that's going to earn Larry Eberhard his very own cold trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
And just like that, we're going green because we're playing games while there's a race going on, Ryan. 61 laps on the board.
Huge checkup by Terry Freer there. I don't know if he spun his tires or what, but
that restart did not look organized. I don't want to miss any passing here, but let's just see if we can get a quick look at that 86 on the outside there. Looks like the 86 just didn't go, Ryan. You're right.
Yeah, it stacked the whole outside lineup, unfortunately.
Aaron Edwards in the Logitech machine, now coming up behind Seth Wansing. This is for the 4th position. Let's go on board with the 1. Ryan, everybody came down for tires and fuel on lap 58. We can estimate that they're going to make it to mid-80s. So let's say, no, not mid-80s. Well, no, you're probably, because we can go, what, 32, 33 laps. It's estimated.
Yeah.
So we're looking probably 91, 92. It's definitely going to be at least a 1-stop. They're going to have to stretch for 2.
Yeah, at this point, there's going to be some people that try it, I think, but it's just the way that caution fell. I just don't think you can save and still be fast. So I think everybody's just pushing at this point.
Landon says the 86 ate the wall on the restart. Jacob saying these boys are quick. Yeah, these guys are unbelievably fast. 29:46, 29:41, 29:41. These are all green times. Personal bests. 4 of the top 5 just scored their personal best, and there's their best lap time flashing up on the pylon on the left side of the screen. And in true Rick James fashion, Ryan, I just realized the pylons aren't even right. It says TNT Round 1 at Indianapolis. That was last week. Now it's Round 2.
That's
we're
all
at
right.
Charlotte.
We know where we're at.
Exactly. You and I know where we're at, and that's really all that matters. So that's the first half of the race. We're done here. 65 laps are complete. Now the second half of the race is on. And Moldy Muskrat says this sets up perfectly. Look at the contact there. Did Seeger get into Bradley? Jake Bradley on the outside. He loses that first spot. New leader, 1-6. Seth Wansing in second. JB sitting in third in the number 50. Chucky Sweeting in fourth. Aaron Edwards in fifth. Briley Wright wants to play 2. Ryan, what happened? 16's got it.
Well, you said the 16, his time was overdue, and he's out there making moves. I mean, you got to be aggressive. It's something that I always struggled with as a race car driver. I was always very conservative, and you know, some of these people out here are just so aggressive, but they're clean. You know, they're not wrecking people, but they're gonna use you up and take some of the air off your nose, and that's kind of what it looked like happened.
I don't even think they made contact looking at that replay. I don't know for sure. I'm not in the race car, so who in the world knows? Seth Wansing, though, he's going to try and occupy all the space behind 1-6. It's Georgia versus Missouri out of turn number 2. Indiana sitting in third. And how about Wansing going to the inside? 9-car Ryan just gets in. He can't just cut him off like that, Ryan. That was a dangerous move, but they both survive.
Yeah, Seth's also very aggressive, and it's been a while since he's won one of these things. So I'm telling you, when you're running second, third, and you see that leader right in front of you, you kind of change your mindset, and that's exactly what Seth's doing. He's going to look low here going into 3.
Aaron Edwards looking to the inside of Charles Sweeting. Wansing, Seeger side by side. Matt Seeger wants to get just in front of the 9. Will he lead the lap out of turn number 4? 69 laps complete. 16-9, 1-2. Jacob Bradley makes it 3. And all the way back in 6th, Brian, Bradley Wright is loving all of this.
Yeah, Bradley's one of those sneaky drivers, man. You never really hear from him. You never really say much about him. And then you look up, and he's in the top 5 almost, right here with the leaders. I mean, Bradley's a really good race car driver. He's come a long way in the past couple years.
It's not just these guys that are having fun. Kevin Feemster and Tommy Withers are running 9th and 10th. Feemster up 3 places, Withers up 4. Shout out Colin McDonough and Tristan Catania, both up 6 places from where they started. Cody Riggs now to the inside of car 48. Bren Roberts, Ryan, he dropped down to 14th after spending the beginning of this race in the top 5.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe he came in and topped off. He may be saving, trying to make it on one stop. I don't know that he can do it, but man, I tell you what, Seth and Matthew are putting on a show up here, and Aaron goes under Chuck. This is a great race for the lead.
Colin McDonough getting into the wall. Now we're back to pictures with the 50, the 9 side by side. We'll go back to that in just a moment so we can catch just what Ryan saw and we didn't, because I'm paying attention to stuff that just does not matter. 16:59, running 1, 2, 3 so far. Let's see if we can go back to these moves between Matt Seeger and Seth Wansing. Ryan, this is in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, just great racing. I think Seth may have used his stuff up. He was just pushing too hard, but just awesome racing out there.
2 cautions so far in this second round of Thursday Night Thunder Racing. No TNT next week. Next week is the duels, and we want to watch the NASCAR Cup Series race at Daytona, so we won't be racing on our computers instead. We will be back the week after that at The Rock, but of course Monday we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to put the MX-5s on the Homestead Oval. Ryan, I hope you're going to race in that, or at least join me in the booth, because those things are... It's an excuse to be crazy. It's my excuse to do the craziest things we can do with iRacing, like qualifying in the rain, in the pitch black at 4:20 in the morning, just because we can. Because why not? So a lot of that craziness is going to happen Monday night. Are we going to see you there?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do to free up my schedule, and who knows, maybe I'll dust off the racing gloves and see what we can do out there.
It's going to be insane either way. This racing is pretty good. Jacob Bradley and Matt Seeger, they are just hammering each other with moves, with passes, blocks, cutting each other off. 76 laps underway. Bradley to the point.
Oh,
Oof.
what a... Hey, I wouldn't be happy with that move.
He was really close there. Let's not break away from this too much. This is coming out of turn number 4. 50 wants to slide in front of that 16 car so bad. And this is into turn number 1. Oh my God, you saw the 16 almost made a little bit of contact with the back of the 50. They might have made contact. I don't know. If they did, that was an incredible save. These guys are not letting up, Ryan. And we have pit stops coming in approximately 10 to 15 laps.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if I'm the 16 and the 50 does that to me with less than 20 to go, I think you see a different outcome. He definitely cut him a little bit of slack there. You can also see that the 9 kind of falling back a little bit. He was racing so hard up there for the lead. Oh, Aaron almost made contact with Matthew there. They're really racing hard up here.
Chucky Sweeting to the inside of the Logitech machine. This is the battle for the 3rd position. And Charles, in the green and black 5-7, will move to the left-hand side of car number 1, but he just can't make it stick. Not clear indeed, says the chat. Aaron Edwards, just trying to hold on to her. Ryan, and maybe the magic has just worn off the tires because these drivers have been racing each other very hard. Not unlike drivers at the back. Talking about Thomas Andrews and John Honeybrink, who are racing this hard for 18th.
Yeah, and I'm looking right now at the live timing, and I'll tell you one person, and he's in that number 14 car. I know exactly what Tom Sears is doing because I usually am back there doing the same thing with him. He's saving to try and make this thing on one stop. He's had speed all night. There's no way that he is a 16th place car, so we'll have to keep an eye on that 14. I bet, you know, he's been known to make a 40 lap pit cycle extend to 50 laps, so we'll have to keep an eye on him.
.50 laps to go, this time by and the 2-time champion Tom Sears in that red Milwaukee Supra, running in 16th. But of course, Ryan, the fuel game might be the game to play. If you can stretch 40 laps as opposed to 33, 34 laps, that could be the decider. And Jacob Bradley is not pulling away from Chuck Sweeting enough to where you can say that speed is a greater decider than fuel mileage.
For sure, and I mean, I'm just looking at, you know, most everyone pitted on lap 58, but take a look at Tom Sears, last pit lap 59. So he came down and topped off. He got one extra lap, and I know you think, oh, it's just one lap. That's not a big deal. That's huge, because with this coming so close to being able to make it on one stop, he can go one extra lap, and with saving could potentially go 2 or 3 extra laps, and he's going to be really close to being in that window.
John Honeybrink up behind Thomas Andrews for 18th, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that close to each other. Aaron Edwards just needs to get around Matt Seeger, but is he just trying to do the same where he would be drafting or being less aggressive with the throttle to save fuel? Briley Wright, if Briley Wright hasn't been saving fuel, I'm wondering what he's doing, because it is the most opportune time for Briley to save when he's behind these cars right here. We're inside of the final 50. Ryan, from here, we know it might be a one-stop race if these drivers save. So now, I mean, I think it's what we already knew, but what we're going to say for the next 40-some-odd laps is that it's speed versus fuel mileage.
Absolutely, but I think all the leaders, I just don't think they can make it. I mean, they were racing really hard there for a while. Their lap times have fallen off, but they've also been out on track for almost 30 laps on these tires, so you kind of expect that. So I just don't think they can make it. I know Tristan Catania, he already came down pit road. So we'll just have to see if, you know, we start seeing people come down pit road. If you pit on 84, obviously, you know, oh, there comes the leader right there. So definitely not going to be able to make it on this stop.
Jake Bradley says it's my time, so he's going to come down into the pits. Briley Wright will follow him in the number 29 Good Wrench machine. Chuck Sweeting to the lead in car 57. Matt Seeger sits behind him, and Aaron Edwards is in third. So they pitted on lap 58. It's now lap 86. They didn't even make it 30 laps this time, Ryan. However, we know they can go approximately 32 to 33 laps if we're estimating conservatively. Let's say they can go 35. The magic number is still lap 96 if you plan on stretching to 35 laps. These guys might not make it another 8 laps to get to lap 96. That tells you that there's going to be one more stop after this one before this race is over.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody that's pitting, Seth just came in. We obviously saw Jacob. It sounds like a lot of more drivers are coming in this time. Just heard it over race comms. But yeah, they're obviously not going to be able to make it to the end. But I really think that there's going to be some drivers out there that are going to try and just do one stop.
Cousin Cody Pennell is in. Indiana's Kevin Feemster is in. Larry Eberhard stays out. He moves up to 8th. Sweeting, Edwards, Seeger still your top 3. Bren Roberts back in the top 5, Ryan, but again, 2 pit stops still on the horizon. And of course, the great equalizer, the caution flag. Anything can happen.
For sure.
With that being said, I want to talk about something that I found earlier this week on the NASCAR Reddit, something that we would absolutely mention, and it's a race program from Bowman Gray Stadium in 1953. And if you're also on the NASCAR Reddit, you might know what I'm talking about, but this has to be one of the funniest things I've seen in an incredibly long time. The names of some of the drivers that are coming in. Ryan, we're going to get there in just a second, but it looks like Edwards and Seeger almost wrecked coming into the pits.
Yeah, that was really, really sketchy. I mean, but you're trying to make up as much time as possible. You know that this is, you know, you're going to have one more pit stop if it stays green, so you got to make up all the time you possibly can.
Elrich George into the Aaron's Dream Machine now comes down into the pits. Aaron Edwards is motionless while his car gets repaired, fueled, tired. Chuck Sweeting in the 5.7, 9.5 seconds ahead of Bren Roberts in second. All of the top 7 drivers, Ryan, have yet to pit. Cody Riggs is in for the Bluegrass Bandits. Larry Eberhard is in the Washington Commanders machine. Who's next, Ryan? You call it.
It's going to be Chuck, Bren, Tommy Withers. I think Tommy Withers is also on the Tom Sears strategy, but obviously one less lap of fuel. So, but now this is interesting because you're going to have fresh tires out there racing around old tires. That's where something could happen out there if somebody's not paying attention.
We're looking at it right now. Jake Bradley, who is a race-winning contender, has fresh tires, and he's now driving around another race-winning contender. Last time around, Chuck Sweeting, 31.76 as Sweeting comes into the pits. Jake Bradley, last time around, 29.80. So Jake Bradley's running 2 seconds a lap faster than Chuck Sweeting. Here's the difference. Jake Bradley pitted on lap 85. Chuck Sweeting is now pitting on lap 93. Chuck cannot make it to... If Chuck Sweeting makes it to the end on fuel, we need to test his sim rig for a long fuel line because that's insane. I can't do the math from here, Ryan, but I think it's 47, 48 laps to the good, and that's too far for Sweeting to go.
Yeah, definitely not 47, but I think it's like 37-ish right now. But again, I could be wrong with that math too. So we need somebody in here that can do the math for us, and then we'd really have a great production out here.
That's all we're missing. We're missing somebody who's good with numbers, and we can finally handle that. So looking back to drivers that are back on racing speed here, Seth Wansing, Matt Seeger, they're nose to tail. Now, surprisingly, Seeger is sitting in the 8th position right now. But of course, Tommy Withers, Tom Sears have not pitted. Tommy Withers is actually on his way in right now, Ryan. It's lap 95. Tommy Withers pitted on lap 58. So that's approximately 35 to 37 laps. Am I seeing this right? So if Tom Sears, he pitted on lap 59, it's now lap 96. That's 37 laps. Tom Sears can make the race on fuel. Tommy Withers may also be able to make the race on fuel.
Bren is coming in. He's going to be close, but I think he'll probably be able to make it as well.
Shout out Landon, who reminded me that the race is the pylon, the scoring pylon on the left, is showing drivers best lap times and not the gap between them respectively. So thank you for that. Ryan, what a race so far. This has been really entertaining watching these guys go for it. Tommy Withers is back out onto the racetrack at speed. He's racing in 15th. Bren Roberts is on his way out currently. Well, now no longer in the top 10 thanks to Tristan Catania. Aaron Edwards and Matt Seeger are back at it. And while we watch these two race, they're going to race around Tom Sears, who's moving at a glacial 32.97.
Nails pace.
Oh my gosh, the speed of smell. 32.78 last time around. Jake Bradley, 30.20. So Bradley moving 2.5 seconds faster than Tom Sears, as it were. But of course, Ryan, if Tom Sears saves enough fuel to be, like, without guessing, good to the end of the race, he can drive as fast as he can, knowing everybody else has to pit.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's really hard. I've misjudged it so much, where you save too much and you lose too much time. I mean, obviously right now, Sears in 7th, he does still have to pit. But like you said, I mean, we're getting close to lap 100. He should be fine. Not have to worry at all about saving or coming back down. Yeah, so I think he'll be fine.
He's moving way too fast. He's moving way too fast. Now we've got to keep an eye on the 14. Ryan, keep your ears peeled. Listen for that speeding call.
That's not what he wanted to do at all. Any shot he had, if he's got a penalty.
Now we just have to wait. You got to cross your fingers, and you have to wait. Jake Bradley will put Tom Sears a lap down in the pits, and if Tom Sears doesn't have a speeding penalty, he's saved enough fuel to where he can drive like a bat out of hell and still have a chance to make it on one stop. No
penalty.
No penalty. He's good. Landon says he's keeping his eye on Tommy Withers as well. Tommy Withers running in 14th right now. Last time around, 29.96. Jake Bradley, 30.52. Withers moving quicker than the leader. Got to keep our eyes on those guys there. Quickly approaching the final 25.
And the 57 just pit for some reason.
Chuck Sweeting.
Sure. That's a little strange. I don't know.
Coming in on lap 99, but again, Chuck Sweeting, I can't remember the last time he pitted. Let's see if we can, where's the button to bring this up here? Our stint lengths. This will help us if we can read that there. Chuck Sweeting, well, he's not even on this radar right here because I don't know how to work this machine. Anyway, I have no idea when's the last time Chuck Sweeting pit. However, I don't think he could have made it on fuel. So I think he had to come in one way or the other. So it's a tough call because you don't want to wait until the last minute. But at the same time, by the time Chuck is done with his race, there's not going to be any magic left in those tires. So he needs to go now, but he's proven that he's quick enough to be faster than the leader. It's just, is his timing correct?
Yeah, I don't know. That's strange. I mean, I get coming down pit road to top off, but I don't know. We'll have to see if that works out for him. But maybe he had an issue or something. Maybe he hit the wall. I don't know. But kind of a strange call there.
looking at 2nd through 4th on your screen. Briley Wright carrying the flag for the Bluegrass Bandits. Aaron Edwards on the outside of that 2-9, and Matt Seeger will kindly sit 3rd in this grouping. One on the outside, and he's got a job to do, Ryan. He's going to try and take it to Jacob Bradley. It's 3.6 seconds between them, and Aaron Edwards came in 4 laps after Jacob Bradley. And we interrupt this battle for second to tell you that Chuck Sweeting just went purple, 29.34, Ryan. He came in and he knew what he was doing. He's got the fastest lap.
Yeah, you remember how I told you?
Oh, contact with Kevin Feemster. 5-7 gets into the 1-7. Feemster spins out of that 4th corner. He's right in front of, of course. Oh, what have I done? All right, that's what I get for hitting the wrong buttons.
Yeah, that could have been a caution. Really, there it is. There's the caution. And that is not what the 57 wanted at all. Matthew Seeger, Briley Wright also were sitting on pit road. Wow, this is going to shake things up big time.
Caution flies at Charlotte with 25 laps to go. Kevin Feemster upended, lifted, turned by the 5-7. And I don't know if Kevin was trying to come into the pits. I don't know if there was just a lack of communication, but Ryan, Kevin just came from the heights of turn number 3 right in front of that 5-7.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear him say anything over comms, but I do have him kind of turned down. So, you know, it's one of those things where sometimes you don't say anything. You think you're by yourself, and sometimes you're just not by yourself, unfortunately. But that was a really big bummer to the 57 of Chuck Sweeting. He did exactly what I told you he was going to do. He undercut everyone else. And I think if it would have stayed green, he would have been in a good spot. But now, everything different.
And there's a few looks at the 3rd caution tonight. 24 laps to go as it stands. And for some reason, Elridge George is being scored as your race leader. Ryan, he hasn't pit since lap 89. What lap are we on now? 106?
Yeah, he is. He is the leader, though. He stayed out. He's obviously not going to stay there long with those old tires, but you know, he's trying something. But that's going to that might cause some issues when we get back going. Oh, I just heard he was coming in too hot, couldn't make it to pit road. So hopefully, Boss will dip back down here and not be in the way.
Pitting on lap 106, being scored in the 2nd position, cousin Cody Pennell sits ahead of Jacob Bradley. Aaron Edwards in 3rd. Seth Wansing, well, when Elridge George comes back into the pits, will be scored in 4th. And a lot of drivers now being trapped by that yellow. Moldy Muskrat thinks that wasn't a caution. And in Thursday Night Thunder, Ryan, 2 cars making contact and crashing. That constitutes a yellow. Kevin Feemster. Let's have another look from the sky here. Feemster just comes down right in front of the 5-7, and there's nowhere for Chuck Sweeting to go.
Yeah, and another thing that we usually try and do as admins is you kind of have to play it by ear, but if there's a car stopped right in the middle of the racetrack, you got to throw the yellow just to prevent, you know, anyone else being involved. But I think it was a good call.
Elridge George is still out on the pits, and the lights are out atop the pace car.
I was wrong. I was wrong. He didn't come back down. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yep. Really wishing that yellow didn't come out now.
He's got one of the fastest all night right behind him. Cody obviously is. He's in a good spot right here because he knows that Boss has old tires, but he's got to be careful not to jump the start and get a black flag.
Legend in the chat saying almost a Mark Martin, JJ Yaley situation. Yeah, that could have been bad. But anyway, we're here now. 22 laps to go. 40-28. side by side. The 40 has not pitted in 20 laps, as it were. Everybody's good to go to the end from here, and we'll see what happens. Elrich George with control of the field. Cody Pennell on the outside. Green flag is out, and it's 22 laps to go. Three, four wide. Are they going to survive out of that second corner? Aaron Edwards to the lead, Ryan.
What a move. Cody got a little bit tight there and just couldn't turn. But Aaron Edwards to the lead.
Elrich George on the inside and everybody trying to skate around him. We have 15 cars on the lead lap. Cody Riggs, Tommy Withers racing in the top 10. Aaron Edwards racing for a win. 2-0 to go next time by, and then it's 1-9 at the line. Ryan, it's Edwards, Roberts, Bradley into 3.
Yeah, I think Cody took 2 tires. He does not have the speed that he had earlier in the night, so he made a kind of a call to try and take 2, and it's, oh, he's spinning.
Cody Pennell goes around. Does everybody else avoid him? It looks like they do. One car goes around by himself, and that will not throw up the yellow, and Cody Pennell looks like he's had enough. That's going to be it for him. Oh, he just got loose. He just got loose, and miraculously, Tommy Withers did not hit him. Look at that. Oh, you got to be kidding me. How did he not make any contact? He jumped right to the pits. And I want to see more of that, Ryan, but we've got a race to finish here. 29-27. Yeah. Aaron Edwards goes purple. He's quickest so far, and Brent Roberts is right on his tail.
Yeah, they're pushing really hard right now. So Jacob Bradley, he's being very patient, staying in third and just staying close enough to strike.
Shout out to my man Repeat, who would call this a hornet's nest. 9 through 12. Tom Sears in that 1-4 Milwaukee machine on the outside of Kevin Feemster, who's not running for position. Tommy Withers goes green, 29.56. He runs in 5th. Terry Freer from Lapeer, running in 10th behind Cody Riggs, who's up 10 places from where he started. Chuck Sweeting starting to get away from him, trying to navigate around Briley Wright. At the front, Ryan, with 16 to go, Aaron Edwards and Brent Roberts are ahead of Jacob Bradley by 1 full second. But if I'm Jake Bradley, I'm not worried because I'm expecting those tires to wear into nothing.
Yeah, and right now, Aaron and Bryn, their biggest fan is Seth, to just try and get to Jacob Bradley and make him try and push a little bit and use up his tires. But I just, like you said, I mean, the 20 laps here at Charlotte, that's a long time. And tires fade pretty quickly here.
Seeger in 6th, just ahead of Briley Wright. 15 laps to go next time by. Jacob Bradley looking at his points lead that may take a hit. Looking at the standings coming into this race, Aaron Edwards running 7th. He's, 11 points behind Jacob Bradley. As they run now, Bradley may still come away with this points lead, but the competition's, anything can happen, and that's why we love racing. I mean, look how close these guys are now. Anything could literally happen.
Yeah, it's what is that saying? It's not over till the fat lady sings.
It's not over. It's not over till what's his name? Gooch Hill.
Gooch Hill.
We never got to this story. I promise you, I'm not being obscene. On the NASCAR Reddit, we came across a race program from 1953 at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem. It included drivers such as Toots Jenkins, Buster Coggins, Dick Rathman, Dink Widenhouse, Bill France, and Ryan, of course, our favorite, Gooch Hill from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Big Bill France and Gooch Hill raced together at Bowman Gray. That is a great piece of NASCAR history, man.
It really is, and back when we really had some names out there. I don't know if that was their government issued names, but we had some we had some characters out there on the racetrack.
You saw that thing, and you spotted Perk Brown in that list as well. Can you imagine naming your kid Perk Brown today?
Yeah, I don't think that drug existed back in '53, but yeah, that's a wild name regardless.
I don't think the word perk meant back then what it does now in '53.
Probably not.
Welcome to the track, Perk Brown, Gooch Hill, and Toots Jenkins for the Stock Car Classic. That's awesome. Meanwhile, while it sounds like we're cussing up here, talking about real people, Dirty Deeds in the YouTube chat talking about Aaron Edwards. He's up 0.4 of a second on Bren Roberts. Jake Bradley 0.9 back, Ryan, and it's 1:0 to go. Next time by, if Bradley has what it takes to win, he's got almost 1.25 seconds to make up.
Yeah, I just looked at their lap times. He was about 1/10, almost 0.2 faster that last lap. So he's definitely making ground. I just don't know if he's going to have enough time.
By the looks of it, he's not. However, that 1.2 is now about to be 0.9 as he is flying up to Bren Roberts. Aaron Edwards, 0.6 of a second ahead of Bren Roberts, and he says he's getting way out of here. Colin McDonough sits ahead of the leader, but he will kindly remove himself from the path of competition. And not Aaron Edwards, I'm sorry, Jacob Bradley definitely hurt us because he's on the move.
Yeah, 0.4 faster that last lap. We'll see here. About another about 0.3 faster that time. But the thing is he's got to get around Bren Roberts. So Aaron Edwards is hoping and praying that Bren Roberts keeps that 50 machine behind him, but it's just not going to happen.
Trying to go on board with Bren Roberts, and now we have to go on board with cameras from the front because Jacob Bradley is there. He's around, and Bradley moves into the silver medal slot. It's a 0.7 of a second gap now, and if I'm Jacob Bradley, I can smell Aaron Edwards ahead of me.
Yeah, 1/10 faster that lap, even passing Bren. So that shows you the speed he has, and yeah, that 50. He's not saving anymore. He's going to get that one, and I think he's going to get him. I mean, he just has so much speed. He's still got a lot of time left, and that is not a big gap that he has to close.
It's not. I thought 1.2 seconds was way too much, and once again, I am dead wrong. Jacob Bradley within 0.5 second to Aaron Edwards. They're going to fight for the win with 6 laps to go, and if Bradley has its way, it's not going to be much of a fight. John Honeybrink will re-enter the arena ahead of these two leaders. 6 to go this time by, and behind them, Ryan, the battle for 5th, still pretty high. Tommy Withers in 5th with Matt Seeger and Chuck Sweeting behind him.
Yeah, I think Withers may have taken 2 as well, but he probably saved a little bit better than Cody did, so he's really been able to hold that speed and still, keep that 5th place spot for now.
1/4 second, it's all that's left. Jacob Bradley now coming up behind car number 1 with 5 laps to go. And Ryan, you know the saying, it's one thing to catch him, it's another to pass him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's had issues all night, but hey, we'll see. He's definitely there, though. That one car, he's going to have to be three lanes wide.
Watch that 50. Will he jerk the wheel to the left-hand side? Car number 1 has to play the hard D. Aaron Edwards trying to hold off Jake Bradley for the win.
Oh, somebody said big wreck. Big wreck.
Is that the caution?
Caution is out.
Caution is out with 4 laps to go. Ryan, who is it? Who's in that wreck?
I have no idea. My live timing doesn't say anything. I just heard somebody over Racecom say big wreck. Didn't see it, though. I'm trying to find it.
This is like scrolling through NASCAR Heat 5, clicking every car to see who's damaged and find out who got in a crash.
I can't see anything. I don't know. I don't know what.
Who the hell crashed? So there's a flag on the...
Terry Freer. Terry Freer, I think,
Michigan's
was
Terry
involved
Freer,
in it.
who's moving at the speed of light past the start-finish line. He got in a big wreck?
Yeah, it's Terry Freer
there it is.
and Riley Wright. Was not a big crash. Not sure who said that, but yeah, definitely 2 cars involved. But
All right,
no.
let's go back. Now that we've identified the accident, let's see if we can run this back and try and find out how these two got together. Rubbing fenders and scraping metal on each other like they're in love. Let's go back through turn number 3. Watch this. 86 shoots to the inside, Ryan. 29, just no way to avoid him. Everybody's going to come into the pit lane under this caution here. Let's see if we can get a look from the sky. Yeah, it looks like he hesitated, Ryan. So I'm looking here on lap 120-something. When did this caution come out? 126? And Terry Freer wanted to dive to the inside, and it looks like he just hesitated. And that hesitation kind of closed the window of opportunity. So he shoots to the inside.
Yeah, Colin was a lap down car, and I think he was trying to get around him, but like you said, he just didn't go into the corner like he normally would, and then Briley just kind of didn't expect it and made a little bit of contact with him.
Larry Eberhard trying to get a second Cold Trickle move of the race the way he's dodging race cars out there, and Moldy Muskrat asks the question, so now what do you do? Georgia's Matt Seeger leads this race. Aaron Edwards is being scored in second. Now, Matt Seeger didn't pit. He last pitted on lap 104. We're going to have a green-white checker to finish this race. So,
oh, yeah.
Oh, Ryan, you're on the lead lap.
I don't know.
He's not going to make up 11 there's 11 cars on the lead lap. He's not going to make up 11 places. Well, actually, probably more than that, really. I think there's 12. He's not going to make that up by coming down for tires. He's got to go for it, but his tires are going to be 16 laps, I think. No, more than that. 24 laps. God, I suck at math. His tires are going to be 24 laps more old than Aaron Edwards. But, of course, what else can you do? Are you going to settle for a top 10 or are you going to go for the win? I think he made the right call.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it would have been a lot better if he had maybe 1 or 2 friends that stayed out with him. There's nobody. So it's, yeah, I don't know. This is a little scary. But you also have to keep in mind, I'm looking now a lot like Aaron Edwards, Withers, Bryn Roberts. Their pit times were about 9 seconds, which indicates they took 2 tires. Whereas Jacob Bradley, 15-second pit stop, he took 4. And he's now in, what, 6th, I think? 5th, 6th. So can he make up that time? I mean, that's a lot of positions he's got to make up in basically 1 lap.
Fans at home, buckle up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we say anything else, we have to thank you for tuning in because this is, I know we're only in the second race, but I can already tell this is going to be the best TNT season of all time. Please, when you have a moment, check out Drip Diecast and Collectibles on eBay. That's Drip Diecast and Collectibles on eBay. They keep us going week after week, and they are your #1 store for NASCAR memorabilia. Drip Diecast and Collectibles on eBay. Let's go racing. Ryan, it's 3 miles to the end. Seeger gets a great start. He leaves everybody in the dust. They're 3 wide as they cross the line, and the white flag is out. Next time by.
Oh, they're wrecking.
Oh, the caution's going to come out again. Colin McDonough's been involved. I have no idea what I'm clicking at. The 17's involved, and that, Ryan, could have been Matt Seeger's ticket to victory lane.
Yeah, but, I mean, the more that it's delayed, I know it's not full speed, but these tires are still getting temperature in them. So, honestly, for him, it does help a little bit. Not a lot, but it does help. But yeah, that was just crazy. It looked like Tom Sears and Feemster involved in that as well.
Terry Freer looks like he misses the start again, but I think this started well before that. Yeah, Kevin Feemster is just a casualty in this one. It starts with Tom Sears. Ryan, let's have a look at that 1-4 Supra. What happened?
He looks like he got into the wall. I'm not sure if he got help or maybe spun the tires, but it was unfortunate. Got into the wall, and then Feemster just nowhere to go.
Looks like he spun the tires to me. Let's see if we can get a different angle. Keep your eye on that red Toyota. You just see the car snap to the right as he's crossing the start-finish line. Go on board and have a listen.
Oh, yeah. Definitely some spinning tires there.
Tries to get back into racing shape. Comes down in front of Kevin Feemster. Nowhere for the 17 to go. Watch this. Colin McDonough, nowhere for him to go. And that's going to bring out caution number 5. And remember at the start of this race when we said that we don't normally crash, and we ended up crashing, I mean, lap number 1. And if you missed the start of the race, watch this. When I say we crashed on lap number 1, I mean we crashed immediately after the start of this race. See if we can even bring that up. Keep trying to find the start of this race. Let me just fly through this. Ryan, who in the hell lets me run these things? I don't know why they bother giving me controls for these things. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I don't either. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You're just along for the ride. Yeah, I have no idea what I've done. But, okay, all right, we're back to live pictures here. Anyway, just trust it was a disaster. Not as much a disaster as my technology has been for me today, but that's okay. The lights are off atop the pace car, Ryan, so this is going to be green-white checkered attempt number 2. Matt Seeger again. Has not pitted now since lap 104. It's now lap 133, so we are in overtime. And it's Matt Seeger's responsibility to start this race. He has control of the field, Ryan. Last time around, he got a gorgeous start, and then the caution hindered him. If he gets another start like that, whoever is in second is going to have fewer than 1 lap to get around him. I think success here hinges on the start.
For sure. I mean, he got a really good restart last time. We'll see if he can do it again. Luckily, he is the leader, so he can kind of set when he launches. And you just got to catch that guy in second off guard. That's the biggest thing. If you know he thinks that you're going to go at the start of the restart zone, wait to the end. You know, just do opposite of what you think he's going to anticipate you doing. We'll see if he can do it again this restart.
Mind games at 180 simulated miles an hour. The pride of Georgia, Matt Seeger, on the inside, waits for the lights. It's his call on when to go. 3 miles to settle it. Another great start from the 16, but Edwards catches on. 2 to go into turn number 1. Ryan, Edwards must make his move now.
Yeah, he's got to go now, or he's not gonna have enough time. Terry Freer in the wall, but we're gonna keep it green.
Out of turn number 2, 1-6. 184, Edwards to the inside. Will he make it stick? He goes to the inside. Seeger beats him down to the blue line. Edwards on the outside, 3 wide for the lead out of turn number 4. Ryan, 1 more to go.
1 to go, and in the grass is Jacob Bradley is there, 3 wide, trying to get to Matthew Seeger. Oh, the one's gonna get loose.
One's in the wall. Bradley, will he make it to the inside? Bradley makes it 3 wide for the lead out of turn number 2. 50 to the inside, 84 to the outside. Brent Roberts will try and squeeze him down to the line. Bradley, he has the line. Will he stick the nose there? Here comes Withers. Seeger's in the wall. Drag race out of turn number 4 to win round 2 at Charlotte. It's going to be Brent Roberts at the line. Jacob Bradley in second. Tommy Withers in third. And 7/100ths of a second is the winning distance. Ryan, to quote the great Mike Joy, say it with me. Have you ever?
No, I've never.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what I'm talking about. Thursday Night Thunder delivers again and again. Brent Roberts, what a win.
What a finish for Tommy Withers, too. I mean, he almost had himself a win there, too. But, yeah, man, that was a great race.
If that doesn't get your heart racing, I don't know what will. Brent Roberts is going to burn it down. I need a cold drink. I need to catch my breath. I need a cold drink before we get this Victory Lane interview underway. Oh man, I love racing. I love racing. I tell you, let's go back to that white flag. God, we have some of the best camera work in the world here. Let's go back before the white flag, Ryan, because this starts well before that. This is coming out of turn number 4, and they go 3 wide for second place. Let's go back here because I want to see, where does Jacob Bradley come from in all this? This is coming to the white flag. Keep your eye on that 50 car. We're going to go to the sky here. And Ryan, I'm coming out of turn number 4 right now. Watch that 50 car slide to the left-hand side. Talk about pass through the grass, man. The stones to try that move and make it stick. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I know that this is not actually grass anymore, it's turf, but still, that's a move there. And, I mean, Tommy Withers right behind him pretty much just followed him up through there and got him a top 3. But, yeah, what a move by the 50. I mean, he was doing everything he could. The 16, also great race. I mean, on way old tires, and was still able to battle and almost had it, just not enough speed.
Watching from the back end of, well, there's the fireworks in the air, but I mean, talk about a finish, man. That's something else. All right, let's catch our breaths. Let's talk about this race here in a moment. Fans, don't go anywhere. I want to hear from Withers, Bradley, and Roberts, and I'm sure you do too. Stick around. We're going to have podium interviews in just a moment. on the podium with our top three. I think we've all caught our breaths. I've had a sip of my drink here. I'm relaxed, and I'm ready to talk about what we just witnessed. Let's start with Virginia's Tommy Withers. And Tommy, what a race, first of all. Up and down. It looked like you were going to have a chance to win on fuel mileage. A couple of cautions come out, and as after those cautions had come out, Ryan had described it beautifully. There were a couple of turning points in this race, but that green-white checker was something else.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. It was an up and down day. I got caught up in the incident in turn 1 with the 1 and the 28, and I didn't really get to fix it until maybe halfway through the race, running 15th. Then I decided to try to split the race in half, run 2-stop race. A couple cautions came out. And then, yeah, I found myself in 5th. I took 2 tires. I think most of the leaders took 2. I think Seth took 2 and just ended up a little bit further back, just kind of holding my breath. So to end up P3 here talking to you is great.
Looking at the points, unofficially, you find yourself in 8th with a break next week. We'll see you at Rockingham in a couple of weeks. Ryan, you've got our silver medalist, Jake Bradley.
Yeah, absolutely. Jake, you come home second. Obviously, you had a really fast car tonight, just one spot short of the win. Tell us about your race. How was the car handling?
It really could not fire off as well as everybody else. I thought I needed to back up a lot more to save tires, and it definitely played off in a lot of the long runs we got to. But we had that caution at the end. I thought the move was 4 tires. A lot of people took 2 in front of me, and I guess we just put on a show.
For sure. Walk us through that last lap coming to the checkered flag. I mean, y'all were 3 wide, I think 2 or 3 different times. You almost had a pass through the grass. We'll call it a pass through the grass. Just walk us through that last lap. It was wild from up above in the booth, but how did it feel in the car?
I got a decent jump off the start, and through 3 and 4, I knew I was going to need to start getting under some of these guys if I was going to have any chance at it. And I started to see Bren coming down the track off the top, so I just kept my foot in, just kind of prayed to keep it going, and it all stuck through 1. Got under the 16, and it was just me and the 84 back all the way through 3 and 4. I just couldn't get enough grip on the bottom and get the run off the top. I knew I was going to come up short, but it was a great battle.
Yeah, well, a great race, and hey, to start off the season, 1st and 2nd, not too bad.
Yeah.
All right, Rick, you got our winner.
I think I've got our winner now. I'm trying to watch through this replay here, as just trying to find Bren Roberts' angles through these last couple of laps. And Bren, how did all that come together?
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. First, I want to apologize to Aaron. We got together and won a little bit, and I really hate that happened to him. I was apologizing to him. That was just an unfortunate deal. But for the most part, I mean, that was about as clean as it could get for that hard a racing. That was a lot of fun. We were just all going for gaps and, shooting around there. Everybody was on different tires. I think me and Aaron were on 2, and Jacob was on 4, and 16 was on none. So it was just the perfect mix to produce the finish that it did. That was a lot of fun.
7/100ths of a second at the line. That is some pretty intense racing as we're watching it now. That's really close, man. But what a show. Unofficially heading into Rockingham in 2 weeks. You are 7 points behind Jacob Bradley. So now next race, you've got to defend and now do better than this. So what do you think? You going to have a chance to defend this win and get 2 in a row?
I'm not that good at the rocks, so I'll show up and give my best effort. But I'm definitely not expecting to win. Just hope to get a good, clean finish and keep chipping away at the points.
You did beautifully, man. Congratulations on that win. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Fans at home, I'm exhausted. I hope you've had enough, because I've had enough as well. Bren Roberts comes away with the race win, and on Monday we get to do this craziness again. The Mazda MX-5s, those funny little go-karts at the Homestead Oval. That's going to be Monday night right here, 8:40 p.m. Eastern on Rick James TV. And then Thursday night, Thunder Round 3 will be at Rockingham. February 20, so not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. We're going to be watching the duels next Thursday, so you should watch them as well. Hit us up on Twitter at TN Thunder Series or at Rick James TV. As always, my esteemed thanks goes to one of the best broadcasters this side of my booth, Mr. Ryan Pennell. Thanks for coming through, man. What a night. Hopefully we see you Monday night for the Mazdas.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't, like I said, dust off the racing gloves and come out and see what I can do. Yeah, just an absolutely classic race, classic finish. I mean, we knew it was going to be a little crazier than normal when we had that crash on lap 0 pretty much, but we did have some long green flag runs, and that was fun to watch and kind of see the strategies play out. But man, I'm enjoying every second of being up here. I'm trying to get off the track more because I'm washed. So at least maybe I can do a little bit better than Clint Boyer does in the booth. So yeah, we're gonna have a great season, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited, man. I'm so excited for that. Anyway, I've had enough. It's time to have some snacks and talk about more racing. So for everybody that tuned in from lap 1 to now, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about how we do this at all, please let me know and let's talk about it. Let's talk about racing anytime at Rick James TV. Don't forget, Monday night, more craziness, more conversation about stupid things we see on the internet because we love racing. So come hang out with us Monday night, 8:40, right here on Rick James TV on Twitch and YouTube. And until that next race, everybody please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you